My dad moved into a house in the middle of the woods about 2 years ago, and I moved in with him soon after to help him get around and take care of the house and whatnot. Side note, it's an old house on that land that Native Americans heavily inhabited in the South. Honestly, this house was very weird. The first night I spent there, I was woken up by a woman whispering, "Is anyone home?" right next to me as I was about to fall asleep. My dad didn't believe me when I told him the next day. It's taken a while to get used to living in the deep woods, but something about this property is off. There's been more than a few times where I've actually felt a heavy presence, almost like someone standing right behind me. I have a cat who I rely on to alert me when there's someone approaching my room, and there have been many times where he's alerted me, but nobody was there. Other times, he just stares at the same corner of my room with an expression that tells me he can see something I can't. There's been more times than I can count where I'll be leaving a room and a cabinet will slam, or it sounds like something was moving behind me. It sounds silly, but it's odd enough for me to notice. I've mentioned it to my father, but he didn't think much of it until early this morning when he woke up and went downstairs to find the basement flooded. Somehow, a shower in the basement was turned on and the drain had been clogged. Neither of us used the shower in the basement. He's not fully convinced there's a ghost in the house. I don't know. If you ask me, he's now fully convinced there's a ghost in this house. I don't know. If you ask me, I think it's more than the house. I get that feeling even when I'm out on a hike. I always leave food scraps and leftovers out on the tree line for the animals. And sometimes, coincidentally, find little treasures in the same spot. Almost like I made a trade with something, with Mother Nature. Once I left strawberry cake leftovers out, and the next day found a stone with a pink crystal formation. Another time I found an arrowhead carved out of stone, and just thought I'd share. My room is very small, and my bed is next to a window. I've been waking up randomly at 3 a.m. to 4 a.m. and seeing a grayish, tall, skinny thing standing across from my bed, and it just stares at me. And when I close my eyes and open them, it seems to get closer. And so I close my eyes and try to sleep. My closet also randomly opens, and it looks like there's something sitting in it. My floor randomly creaks at night, and it sounds like someone is pacing back and forth around my bed. And at this point, I am too scared to open my eyes and look. I've had a time where I woke up to my blanket being pulled off, and I just stay still. I don't move because it's an aggressive tugging. I tuck in my blanket right around me, and I sleep alone at night. When I wake up, my blanket is across the room on the floor. I've heard knocking on my window randomly at like 2 a.m. I'm the only one who has a room downstairs. I also have been recently getting sleep paralysis. And for the past 2 months, I've been having these very vivid, gory dreams. I live with my parents who are Christian. No one lived in this house before us. So, I don't know. Really, the house was built in the 90s. Sometimes I hear knocking at my door at like 2 a.m. and everyone else is asleep. And I leave my door unlocked at night. I don't believe in ghosts, but this is really ticking me off. Any suggestions welcome. Also, by the way, I'm not religious and I'm 14. It was around 2:10 a.m. last night. I just got finished doing an essay for my college class. I went and turned my light off in my room and on my fish tank. It was pitch black in the room, as I like it when I go to sleep. I turned on my music and sleep timer to shut the music off in 50 minutes. That is important to keep track of time in the story. I remember laying down and closing my eyes, facing the wall. I woke up feeling something was strange. Enough time has passed to where the music was turned off. I sat up and grabbed my phone, turning on the flashlight, looking around my room. I woke up and generally felt like someone or something was in my room. I saw nothing, and I turned the flashlight off and put the music and sleep timer on again, laying down and facing the wall again. It was not 5 minutes later when I felt something literally sit on my bed next to me, because I felt my body lean in that direction. It was a strange sense of calmness I felt from it, and when I moved a little, I felt the weight leave. This is almost a month after my dog, who was literally my only friend of 4 years, died. I have been slowly getting used to sleeping alone at night, and this experience really woke me. I felt so safe and comforted by the presence that I was sad when it left. I am an atheist and I do not believe in any higher presence, so this was a very strange experience for me. I just felt like sharing this with people. As a kid, I would see black shadows, silhouettes at night. I used to see them frequently for at least a year. They would walk around the house, around my bed, and they would walk in one direction, and then proceed to walk into the wall, disappearing from what I remember. There used to be female and male silhouette, no children. So I asked if anyone else has ever had this happen to them or heard something similar. I never knew what was going on, and I have never spoke about it as an adult. Would love to hear about any similar experiences or information known on this subject. So pretty much my whole life since I can remember, random stuff always happens. Volume changes, TV turning back on, etc. Now to the main point me and my brother have discussed this many times with our experiences. And we both feel something is attached to our dad, since stuff has happened house to house, no matter where we moved. Number 1, I was home alone sitting on the floor when something sat on my bed and patted my head, and I heard a goodbye and then my name. Number 2, my brother has seen shadows around my parents' room. Number 3, volume changes, TV and electronics being turned back on. 4, my dog constantly staring at a corner of the hallway and growling and barking at things that aren't there. Me and my brother are trying to figure out whether this is like a past relative following around my dad, or whether it's something just there or intending to become violent. Nothing violent has ever happened to my knowledge.